Hey everyone, real quick before the episode begins, just want you to know that we had a little technical difficulties at the very beginning of the episode. So for like the first 10 minutes or so, Sarge's audio is a little warbly and not wanky, janky. But it does get better, I promise. Just muscle through it. It's not that bad. But with that, enjoy the episode. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Cryptid Cocktail Party, show where we have a few drinks, share a few laughs, take a dive into the unknown. I'm your host Dave, and as always, I am joined by the handsome boy, Sarge the Destroyer. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Sarge. How are you?
You're asking me or the audience?
Whoever's listening.
Okay.
Whoever wants to be a part of my life right now.
Yeah, I really got to stop trying to ad-lib those intros. I just got to start saying, as joined as always by Sarge, because every time I do, I tongue twist it up. I get fucked up. It's all bad. But anyways, to answer your question, even though it wasn't directed specifically to me, I am doing fine. How are you, bud?
I'm sick.
Yeah,
I've got a bit of the cold.
Oh,
yeah.
So not sick like in a skateboarding way, but like sick as in like a health way.
I'm rad as in a skateboarding way, but I am sick as in a physical health way. Mentally,
Gotcha.
I'm pretty much all there. For the most part.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Yeah, for the most part. Like, I could be better.
You said that with such confidence, I was kind of questioning it. Maybe it's the cold getting to your head.
The way I look at it is like, I know what's wrong with me, And that's half the battle.
Yeah, according to G.I. Joe, knowing is half the battle. I don't know what the other half is because I don't ever say, but it is what it is.
The worst part is I was actually really excited. I had a good start to the week. Lego has just released their D&D minifigure line.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Badass. Yeah. They got mind flares and tieflings and all kinds of cool shit. And I was very excited. I found a way to get all of them. Because even though they do blind bags, if you scan the little QR code on the bottom through a program on Jay's Brick blog, I'm getting these are some real deep Lego cuts right now, just so you know. You can find which one's in which box, and that's what I did.
God damn.
I cheated the system. I'm sorry, Lego, but I don't have time to fuck around and buy like 30 of these things.
You cheated the system the same way that people, when they go to like Star Wars land at Disney, they cheat the system to try and find the black kyber crystals. You did the exact same thing. And that's
exactly what I did.
And I appreciate that. Because I would do the exact same thing. Because fuck that.
Look, if I was like a 10-year-old kid that was just using my paper route money or something to do this, yeah, okay, I'll take the time. But I'm a grown-ass man. I can't be fucking around in a Walmart in the toy section for too long. They start asking questions that I can't answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at least you have the excuse of having children, because you can have those children with you when you do it. You know what I mean?
No, because then I would have to get them stuff as well.
Fair. That is valid.
That's how children work. If you get something for you, you have to get something for them, which is why I don't take them to Walmart. It's just asking for trouble.
Today, sorry, we have a lot to go over today. I was trying to make this one episode. We might have to split it into two. I'm not sure. Either way, we're going to get to this. Today, Sarge, we're going to be covering one of the most popular conspiracy theories known to man. And this story has fucking everything. It's got time travel, psychic abilities, monsters, possible child Manchurian candidates, like just all the things that you could ever want in a story. It's got everything.
Are you trying to audition for like InfoWars?
No, but listen, today we will be heading to Long Island, the most populated island in all of America, to discuss a conspiracy so big, so vast, and so important to the fabric of society that only like two dudes are talking about being a part of it. And today that conspiracy theory is the Montauk Project.
Now the title of this episode makes sense.
You're familiar with it, right?
Very, yes.
Okay. So most of you listening, even if you've never heard about it before, you may be like more familiar with the Montauk Project than you think, due to the popularity of the show that everyone has seen, Stranger Things, which takes like heavy influence from this theory. Fun fact: the show was originally named Montauk and was supposed to be set on Long Island, but they decided to go a different direction for like narrative reasons. Like you can't really put Long Island in quarantine, so they chose like the small town.
I mean, you could,
but
if you wanted to.
It wouldn't be.
It is an island.
Yeah, but I feel like it's better being a small town.
No, I agree. I totally agree.
So, how familiar are you with the Montauk Projects?
So I'll say this. I am very familiar with one aspect of the project that caught, I think, everyone's imagination. Well, every weirdo's imagination for quite a while.
So everyone listening.
But I know there's more to it. So I haven't dug deep. So when I said very familiar, I mean very familiar with, the creature.
Okay, so that's the aspect that you're familiar with.
Yeah, what was found on that beach.
I
was very excited about.
Oh, so that the Montauk Monster or whatever, that fucking raccoon mange, that has nothing to do with the Montauk Project. That's not even.
Oh shit! I thought that was like a part of it.
No, that's just called that because it was found in Montauk.
Coincidence.
Yeah. So the origins of the Montauk Project is essentially the continuation of two major top secret government projects. One, MK Ultra, everyone's favorite. It was an actual real program conducted by the CIA to develop mind control techniques with it. So it quote unquote officially was conducted between the years of 1953 and 1964. The other project that it's a continuation of can be traced back further all the way to 1943 with a little incident known as the Philadelphia experiment.
Ah, yes, that old chestnut.
Yeah, so I did it.
I'm a part of a battleship.
So I did a whole episode on the Philadelphia experiment like a year ago. But for those who haven't heard it, here's a quick rundown of what that was. In 1943, at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard, the U.S. Navy was testing out new technology that was supposed to make ships invisible to radar, using technology that was either made by or heavily influenced by Nikola Tesla. They tested this new technology on a destroyer escort named the USS Eldridge, which is too close to Eldritch for me, considering what happens next.
I think that was part of the naming.
Yeah,
we're like, can we make this scary?
Right? They didn't even. All right. But anyways, once the technology was fitted onto the ship, the crew was boarded, and they didn't even bother like undocking and like going out to sea before they turned this bad boy on. It was said by witnesses that they saw the ship glow green, then vanish. The ship apparently traveled through space and time, popped up in Norfolk, Virginia, before disappearing and then reappearing again back in Philadelphia. So the mission was kind of a success, the crew, in the process of dematerializing and then rematerializing, apparently like the human body doesn't like that, so they got fused to the ship. Like that one scene in Jumanji when like Robin Williams is like in the floor. You know what I'm talking about? You remember that scene, right?
Yeah. Right.
So it's kind of like that. Needless to say, the Navy was like, let's put a pin in this for now, and we'll circle back. And that's
son, you are no longer on a boat. You are now the boat.
Yeah, and so that's what they did. So this whole conspiracy theory, the Montauk Project, is based mostly on the account of three people with the diciest of credentials and credibility. First, we have Preston Nichols. Yeah, he's a man who claimed to have recovered repressed memories of being an engineer on the Montauk Project. He claimed to have been a part of every major breakthrough of the project, and then wrote a book about the subject.
That makes sense.
Yeah, titled The Montauk Project, Experiments in Time. The second person is Peter Moon. His real name is Vincent Barbaric. He wasn't a participant in the project, but he's a writer and a publisher who co-authored the Montauk books with Nichols. And his role pretty much was he provided much needed like punch up to the story to kind of make it more palatable to readers. And then the third person is Duncan Cameron. This dude, he is all over this story. Like if this story were to have a main character, Duncan Cameron is the main character. If we were doing Stranger Things, he's 11. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, according to these three highly reputable men, The government wanted to continue these efforts,
very reputable,
but they wanted to take them to a far more advanced and what some would call more quote unquote ethically questionable levels. So
that tracks.
So in the 1970s, they spruced up the old Montauk Air Force Station and repurposed it for these experiments. Now, you're probably asking yourselves, what exactly were these experiments? Well, I want to thank you for asking, because I'm going to tell you. First,
are these like freshmen in college showering with the lacrosse team experiments? What is happening?
Well, we're going to start out. It started out pretty simple. It started out with your classic like mind control research, pretty much just a continuation of MK Ultra. This consisted of studying the effects of trauma, hypnosis, and subliminal programming on their test subjects. And now you're probably wondering, well, who were these test subjects? Well, they were.
Yes, I was, Dave. You read my mind. Are you part of the Montauk Project?
I mean, you never know, but they were allegedly abducted children that were programmed through severe psychological manipulation to become sleeper agents, and they were known as the Montauk Boys, which is a way too fun name for kidnapping children.
It sounds like the rival band to like, what's his name? The Jersey Boys. Frankie Valli. Oh yeah, we're the Montauk Boys. Let's go. Bring it on.
It's kind of like that.
But also, now we know what happened to Jean-Benet Ramsey.
You think she was a Montauk boy?
Yeah, they replaced her with a fake body, red herring, naturally.
Got it.
And then that I don't even think that's the proper usage of that word, but I'm a little sick and just let it go. Oh, yeah. So they inserted the red herring and then took the child to make her Avril Lavigne. Boom, solved it.
I don't think we solved it.
You know what you're doing? You're thinking about it, and you shouldn't think about it because it's a conspiracy theory.
True.
So,
but I feel like no, you're right.
Dan Aykroyd's involved, I'm sure.
Yeah. So these experiments were focused on understanding and controlling human thought processes through, like I said, different techniques.
Like you just move right on. Okay, Sarge. Cool.
Hypnosis, subliminal messaging, and the worst was trauma-based conditioning, where they would systematically break the subject's psyche to induce dissociative identities. And once that was achieved, those like fractured personalities were then able to be programmed with specific tasks that could then be like remotely triggered at any time. So basically like a real
it's like being a Red Sox fan in the 1980s.
Yeah, it's basically that. It's
trauma.
Yeah, it's trauma. It's forced, but it's forced trauma. I don't know what they didn't like go into specifics like what they did to break this person's psyche. I can only imagine it was like playing Barbie Girl on like a loudspeaker. Like basically, I imagine it being similar to Guantanamo Bay torture. That's how you break a psyche.
Or like making lifelong fans of a baseball team watch Bill Buckner miss the easiest catch in history.
Right between the legs, baby. Right between the legs, baby.
Not to derail this, but I'm gonna. I met him after we won the 2007 World Series. He threw out the first pitch, and he was walking down the street in Boston, and I saw him, and I was like, holy shit, that's Bill Buckner.
Did you give him the finger?
No, I ran up to him and I shook his hand. I felt terrible for the guy. It wasn't even his fault. He should have never been put in that game. His knees were made of paper. Anyway. So I ran up to him and shook his hand. And I was like, Mr. Buckner, I'm so sorry about, the last 30 years of your life.
Yeah.
Super nice guy. But man, had this been like 10 years beforehand, I might have punched him directly in the groin.
So baseball players aside, as far as I know,
Buckner, you're a real one.
As far as I know, these experiments were very successful. As they progressed through these mind control tests, the project then began to focus their efforts simultaneously on psychic research. To aid in their endeavors, the scientists at Montauk developed a device. Allegedly, it was based on reverse engineered alien technology called the Montauk chair. Now, a majority of this is going to take place in this chair. So this chair was said to be able to amplify a person's psychic ability, particularly those with like latent telepathic and telekinetic abilities. And this is where our boy Duncan Cameron comes in. He's the guy that I said is pretty much like the main character of the story.
Main protagonist.
Yeah. Now, he claims he was the main subject of experiments using the Montauk chair. Now, while seated, he said he would be connected to a network of machines designed to boost his mental powers and was tasked with attempting several different telepathic and psychic abilities, including communicating telepathically, remote viewing, and psychokinesis, which is basically just like trying to like manipulating things with your mind. It's 11 from Stranger Things. Now
nothing burps like Narragansett.
Yeah, so all of this was like the government had hoped that this could eventually be used like weaponized for like military use. Yeah, so far we have mind control, which is a staple in pretty much any government conspiracy. We have
you can't have a government conspiracy without mind control. I agree.
We got psychic abilities, which is like it's giving very like men who stared at goats vibes. So far it's pretty standard shit when it comes to like unfounded conspiracy theories. But before we continue, how you feeling? Is this like what you kind of thought was going to be like the concept?
No, this is like a whole. I mean, there's a chair involved, which I'm guessing remote viewing, probably.
Buddy, you just wait. So with the team getting some like just absolute A+ results from this Montauk chair, they decided to go full Guy Fieri and just like kick it up a notch.
Taking it to Flavor Town.
Yeah, what they're doing now is they're going to go with time travel and temporal manipulation. Now, the researchers wanted to use the psychic amplification technology that they developed with the chair to create time tunnels, which are essentially wormholes that could connect different points in space-time. We all know what a wormhole is. Now, they did this by manipulating the energy fields around the person in the chair, and in doing so, they could open up portals to the past, future, and even different realities. So, at the center of this is our main man, Duncan. Now, he claims he was heavily involved with these time travel missions because if you're going to be part of a conspiracy theory, you always have to be the main guy. Now, he claimed that he claims he was heavily involved with these time travel missions. They called them missions. He would be sent through.
Of course, they did.
Yeah, he'd be sent through these tunnels on missions to various periods in like history, include like ancient Egypt, World War II. He even claimed that he visited the lost city of Atlantis, stating that he observed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You stated that
a very real place that we all know exists.
Yeah. But well, I mean, it does because he observed their advanced technology and sophisticated society, and that the Atlanteans had a high level of knowledge and mystical practices, which were facilitated by their advanced technology and apparent psychic abilities. And he was even able to interact with these inhabitants and experience all this firsthand psychically.
Of course. Yeah. Of course.
He also
you're crazy. You're crazy not to believe this.
He also claimed to have visited dystopian futures and alternate realities. But this is just one component of the time travel experiments. They also toyed with the idea of going back in time and changing the outcome of historical events because what could go wrong?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. There's no way you could screw that up. No way in the world.
Yeah. Well, they did attempt this by sending what they call operatives to different key moments in the past to try and influence the outcome. But they soon realized that this was just a bad idea. Their attempts often resulted in the creation of alternate timelines in history. Like it ended up like, so basically they would go back in time. History ended up being like diverged, like based on them fucking with time. And these timeline deviations were caused reality to splinter and just caused a big headache to the researchers. So as far as I can tell, they didn't do much of it. And these experiments in time travel are where theorists claim like the connection like to the Philadelphia experiment come into play. They say that the scientists at Montauk were trying to figure out like the time displacement that happened during the Philadelphia experiment and ended up like expanding upon and like refining that technology used to try and perfect their time travel like technology. But I do have a new theory. So they were going back in time and then they were splintering reality, right, into different timelines. I think the Montauk Project is the reason that we have the Mandela effect and why like there's no longer a cornucopia on the Fruit of the Loom logo. I think this is why it happened.
Oh, wow.
Like the Bernstein Bears, get fucks, you know what I mean?
Bernstein.
Like,
Yep.
Come on.
And just Kenny Chesney, you know,
What does that have to do with anything?
just like it'd be great if there was a timeline where he didn't have to hear his music.
There probably is. The Montauk Project probably created a reality where there's no Kenny Chesney.
There's one where Kenny Chesney and Lee Harvey Oswald change places.
So Lee Harvey Oswald is a very successful country musician, and
And all
Chesney
of his songs are about the USSR.
Gotcha.
And Kenny Chesney shoots Kennedy in favor of guns and trucks.
I kind of fuck with that. I mean, it's possible. Who knows?
Right?
But anyways, by the 1980s, the Montauk Project.
Look, we all know Marilyn Monroe killed him from the grave.
Now, by the 1980s, the Montauk Project shifted gears, and they're now focusing on some more stranger things. See what I did there? You like that?
Oh,
yeah.
Good tie-in.
Now, these new experiments involved interdimensional travel and contact with extraterrestrial beings. It was made possible when the time travel experiments evolved into creating portals not only through time, but now into other dimensions. Now, these new interdimensional tunnels allegedly allowed beings from other dimensions and alternate realities to enter through to our world. Some Montauk Project conspiracists claim that this ability to supercharge their technology to the point of being able to travel interdimensionally was due to the fact that the project was working very closely with aliens. Specifically involving...
I thought you were going to say Toll House cookies, and I was going to get really nervous.
No, specifically involvement from the Greys and the reptilians, because no conspiracy theory is complete if the reptilians aren't involved. Now, these aliens allegedly had their own agenda and were working in collaboration with the U.S. government in exchange for technological knowledge, and this knowledge is what allowed the scientists at Montauk to manipulate the fabric of space-time. That all makes sense?
No, not at all.
Okay.
None of that made any sense, but I'm following. I'm following very closely. I understand what you're saying, but none of it makes any sense.
Well, yeah. Okay. So, all right. All right. I guess when I said, does that make sense? Are you following? So you get it.
I'm following the story. No problem.
All right.
Because my brain has already been ruined by conspiracies. So I'm a part of this, whether I want to be or not.
Yeah. And
I just can't wait for us to get into the chair.
We've been in the chair. The chair's been in play this whole time. Everything that's happened.
I know, but I'm saying, like, I want to physically sit in this chair.
Oh. I can't imagine it's comfortable.
I would love if it was just like a lazy boy and it had like a colander that you put on your head with a bunch of wires coming out of it.
So the way I see it is that, so you've seen Stranger Things, right?
Yeah.
You know when they go into like the deprivation tanks and like Eleven's like floating in like the salt water? I think like that's Stranger Things version of this. Like it's got to be something like that. Like a bunch of electrodes all over your body, and then somehow it's able to like just like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like enhance your ability to do psychic things.
Yeah.
But you're sitting in basically what I also assume is a lazy boy.
Yeah. Because like if you're in a deprivation chamber, it's going to dull all your other senses.
Yeah.
And so.
But I have a question.
Your brain.
In your visioning of this lazy boy, does yours also have that thing from like the early 2000s where it went over the arm and like one end of it was like a weighted like cloth football like design thing and it had pockets in it to put like the remote and stuff?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Naturally.
All right.
Where else am I going to put my Cheetos?
Exactly. Now, Sarge, we have reached what has been dubbed the final experiment. Are you ready for the final experiment?
You might not want to use that. The final experiment. Oh, you know what? I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of the final solution.
Yep.
Different situation altogether.
Yeah. Now
my brain went in the wrong direction there, and I'm glad I reeled it back in.
You have a cold. I get it.
Yeah.
But also it is valid to assume that most conspiracy theories, especially involving reptilians, it does circle back to Nazis most times. This time,
most of the time,
I don't. As far as I could tell, there's no Nazi scientists working on this. Maybe. But anyways, the
yet there is time travel after all.
No, sure, they did say they went back to World War II. I don't know who they were recruiting.
I just picture a lightning strike and there's a German in the room. Where am I?
It's well, hold on. So the final experiment is the culmination of pretty much everything the project had been building to. In August of 1983, our boy Duncan, back at it again, has now proven himself to be possibly the most powerful psychic, and not just in like the Montauk Project, but in the world. Like he went to Atlantis, and he was chosen to be the head of this experiment. It's said that the goal was to push the Montauk Project research to like its absolute limit. Some theories claim the goal was to send multiple individuals on a mission further into the future than ever done before to gather information. What information? I don't fucking know. It was never stated. Others claim the objective was to open a large but stable time tunnel that could be used like for regular travel through like different points in history. So they could be going back and gathering information or bringing people from the past to the present. Who knows?
Sure.
Doesn't really matter what the reason was, because that shit went sideways real fucking quick. Now,
that makes sense.
According to our boy Preston Nichols, the one who had recessed memories like brought forward and was also an integral part apparently of all the shit that's going on. Our boy Duncan, he was seated in the Montauk chair connected to the project's like alien psychic equipment shit. As he reached deep into his subconscious, he maybe by accident summoned a terrifying and horrific creature into existence that is now lovingly referred to as the beast from the id. Descriptions of the beast, they describe it as a massive, terrifying, interdimensional creature, but its appearance varies depending on like which story you go with. So some say that it's a monstrous, shadowy figure with no defined form, kind of like the smoke monster from Lost. Others say it's Taylor Swift. Actually, this description might. Other accounts say it was a large, grotesque animal or humanoid type deal. But even though there's debate,
it's not Taylor Swift.
Even though there's debate as to what this thing looked like, there are two things about this thing that are true. One, this creature was 100% from Cameron's subconscious, and two, it was not stoked to be outside of his said subconscious. Once this thing materialized, it just started fucking shit up like almost immediately. It was like rampaging through the underground facility, destroying equipment, full on facilities, brutally killing like any personnel that was unlucky enough to be in its way. And as the beast rampaged its way through the facility, destroying like all the machinery and technology, pretty much all the stuff that brought it into existence, it caused a system-wide breakdown of the entire project. This thing wasn't called the final experiment because they wanted it to be. It's because it had to be. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. We need what we need this on a t-shirt.
What? Which one?
The Montauk creature.
What does it look like? We don't know.
Listeners, send in your submissions. We'll pick one or two.
Yeah, new art contest. Send us your depiction of what you think the Montauk, the beast of the id is.
What we'll call it is the beast of the id, and then in parentheses, probably, or like artist rendition.
Artist rendition colorized 1970. No, the time.
Yeah, it was only in black and white.
No, the time tunnel that was being manipulated during the experiment became unstable, causing fluctuations in the fabric of space-time, and this led to the inevitable emergency shutdown of the entire project. Because if you're fucking with space-time and it becomes unstable, I think it's a good time to just like call it quits at this point.
Yeah, knock it off.
Now, this process included the complete destruction of any and all technology used during the project, including the Montauk chair. So unfortunately, Sarge, you'll never be able to sit in the Montauk chair. I'm sorry for your loss, boss.
I'm just going to make a new one.
The time tunnel was permanently closed for obvious reasons. And parts of the base itself were completely demolished, with other sections being filled with concrete so that no one could ever like gain access to the underground facility. Now, following the events of the final experiment and the subsequent emergency shutdown, the government went full cover-up mode. Any surviving participants had their memories erased, or sometimes worse. I'm sure you can guess what the worst option was.
Just hit in the head with a shovel.
Pretty much, yeah.
The charge went out of the memory eraser. Get me the shovel.
The base was abandoned and sealed off. Any surviving technology or like continuing experiments that were going on were moved to numerous other locations to continue under different under different names. And with that, Sarge, we're gonna end like this episode on the Montauk Project, but don't worry, because next week we will continue talking about weird sci-fi conspiracy theories with an episode on the Montauk Project's sister experiment known as Project Pegasus.
Oh. What a glorious ass name, too.
It's so good. Now, that story has everything. Time travel to Mars. Barack Obama.
Offering healthcare to interdimensional illegal aliens.
This is a young Barack Obama back when he went by the name Barry.
Oh, even better.
Yeah,
even better.
Yeah. But yeah, so there you have it. That is the Montauk Project. How do you feel about this?
This was a ride.
Right?
This was a ride.
Yeah, more to it than you thought there was.
These were like my favorite conspiracy theories when I was younger. Like time travel and...
Because they're the only ones that matter. And I feel like this doesn't hurt anyone. I feel like most conspiracy theories nowadays are just like, it's mostly just, it all just goes back to like blood libel, being anti-Semitic, or hurting the parents of children who died in school shootings. Like there's no good, no good conspiracy theories anymore. This, to me, along with the Philadelphia experiment, I'm not going to say it's wholesome, but like, I'm sure there's deeper meaning to all of this, and I'm sure it does somehow get anti-Semitic somewhere, but I didn't look into that, so I'm going to play ignorance and just say it doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that might touch on the anti-Semitism are the reptilians. Because of their ties to the Illuminati, and then you get to the Rothschilds. I mean, it's like 6 degrees of separation of racism.
Yeah.
Eventually, all roads lead back to our poor Jewish brothers and sisters.
But that's the downside. Like, I love conspiracy theories. This is one of my favorite ones. I think it's really good. And like I said, even if you've never heard of this before, you're probably more familiar with it than you think you are because of the show Stranger Things. Like, this is basically like, this is Stranger Things, and it's awesome. Yeah,
there was a lot of familiarity that came out of it. Yeah. I especially love the creature. Yeah. Like just a creature of this man's mind, his subconscious just came to life and destroyed a building.
Now, they didn't like go into detail on what they did with the creature, and I tried to look so hard. Like, I don't know if they like just sealed it in there, or like once they closed the time portal, did it disappear, or once they unhooked him, did it go away because it was a product of his like subconscious?
You see, it's funny that you say that, because I was thinking that. I'm like, are we going to touch on the whereabouts? Because I was going to ask you, like, okay, what happened to the creature? Did they just cement it underground?
Yeah, I mean,
and then when you said we were going to talk about another thing, I was like, oh, he'll get to it in the next episode.
No, Project Pegasus isn't like... It's not technically part of the Montauk Project, and it's not like even I called it the sister project. It's not really. I just really want to continue doing these fun conspiracy theory things. But it's
just wait until we get to underground bases.
Project Pegasus is one of those things where it's like there are so many similarities that they're always talked about within the same like breath. You know what I mean? Same way that like the Philadelphia experiment isn't technically the precursor to this. If anything, MK Ultra is way more the precursor to this, but it does tie in. And Project Pegasus, the Montauk Project ties into Project Pegasus.
Yeah, and I love that there was a connection to MK Ultra, because that's the other thing that always shows up in modern conspiracy theories.
Yeah. I mean, but the fucked up thing is that was proven to be real, and that is bonkers.
Yeah. Like my favorite part of MK Ultra is Project Climax.
Oh.
No, he's my least favorite.
I had one of those this morning.
Gotta have a little Operation Climax later on.
Let me tell you, I got an A+ on that project. There was dioramas and everything. Okay.
Ew.
Yeah.
I don't want to know anymore.
It's bummed.
I don't, yuck.
Sorry to bum you guys
Yucky.
out.
But yeah, like look up Operation Project. It's either, I think it's Operation Climax or Midnight Climax. That's it. Operation Midnight Climax.
Bro,
Oh my God.
If I Google any of these
So
things,
fucked up.
I feel like I'm going to be like on a fucking list or it's going to bring me to websites that I don't want to be at.
That's, if you Google that, you'll get to a website where it shows your own sex tapes. Like you didn't even know they were recorded.
Well, it's like deep web, like dark web type shit.
Yeah.
I love that.
Just accesses your webcam and imposes your face on anyone.
Yeah. But yeah. So how you feeling so far? I mean, there's more that I hate to say this, but there's more to this story. Like fucking Duncan, he suffered like quote unquote PTSD and traumatic because he was part of the project, quote unquote.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you go back and forth to the future and then the past, like
Allegedly.
it's bound to mess with your brain a little bit.
Yeah, but let's be honest.
Just getting used to the new money would weird you out. Like imagine going from a time that only used cash and then they're like, here, now you're going to use your watch.
He shows up to Atlantis and has to exchange his bills for like seashells. God damn. He's got to use wampum like fucking Native American currency. Oh, yeah.
At least wampum was pretty.
I would assume that like the Montauk. Well, no, because it doesn't make any sense because he wasn't physically there. He was sitting in the chair, so that means he astral projected to Atlantis, and that means that he.
But see, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is you said that they traveled back in time, but they used the chair. So was it like a quantum leap situation where they just inhabited someone else's body?
I don't know, dude, because it's all made up.
Well, God damn it, I need answers.
The only thing I think is that
it is all made up.
He like astro projected there, and then it had to have been like. But the way I also see it kind of like how. So there's a theory that like the Men in Black are like interdimensional beings, but like that they're always dressed for the decade that they're in, but not like the exact time period. Does that make sense? Like.
Yeah, well, I had heard that it was like decades previous.
Yeah, so maybe it's like the century, whatever. But
yeah, it's a century, I think.
So maybe like the Montauk Project had a costume department, and they had like all these different currencies, and they were able to like when he astral projected, he was wearing like I don't know what do Atlanteans wear, fish scale and fucking like shit,
denim shorts and rollerblades.
I'm also saying this like at this point. Atlantis is underwater at this point. Like I feel like he must have gone there when it was not underwater.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But
yeah, just a perfect, my image of Atlantis is everyone is wearing Ray-Bans. All the men have mustaches and mullets and everyone wears denim shorts and rollerblades. That's Atlantis.
The perfect society.
Like they had it all figured out.
Yeah.
As soon as you land, all you hear is Jump by Van Halen.
I feel like you just described P-Town though.
No, I just described Lowell.
Lowell does not have it figured out, but let's be honest. Lowell is far from having it figured out.
It's like Lowell's fashion sense with P-Town's progressiveness.
Okay. Yes, that isn't. Yeah,
that would work.
All right,
I'd go.
All right, Sarge. Yeah, so we'll continue on with these weird conspiracy theories next episode. Project Pegasus. Get ready to hear some fucking mind-boggling shit about Mars. Fucking Barrio coming through, being part of this. I'm
so excited.
It's gonna get weird.
Back when Barry was ripping cools like you read about. So stuff to plug, coloring book. I keep saying comic book. I'll never say it right. Coloring book, sajasupernormal.com. It's $9.99 and you can color while we watch the world end together. And you can find our socials. Just go to the Cryptid Cocktail Party Instagram and there's a link there and you can find everything.
Yeah. So yeah.
And listen to the podcast and subscribe and make your friends subscribe. Take their phone from them, type in Cryptid Cocktail Party, and then subscribe.
I've
and
actually
then they have to listen. It's the
I
law.
actually was going to tell people to do that. And then, yeah. So follow Cryptid Cocktail on Instagram at Cryptid Cocktail, TikTok, Cryptid Cocktail Party. Please leave us a rating and review. 5 stars. If you're
and send in listener episodes too. We're happy to comment.
Yeah,
and tell your story for you.
We'll lightly make fun of you for it, but only lightly.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if you give us a huge downer one, we're gonna have to make jokes somewhere.
Yeah, or just negate the story altogether and be like, "This is bullshit." Just pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah. Here's another lie from one of our listeners. What a great endorsement of the listener segment.
Oh, that'd be really funny though. If everyone we sent in was like, "This is bullshit." Fuck.
Yeah. This pure lies from our listeners. Clearly, this person's having a delusional moment. Anyway,
Sarge, do you want to?
So, if you want that to happen to you, thank you for listening. Sorry, I'm sick, and I love you.